Hi everyone, it's great to see you. It's early morning here. I wanted to take you out before it got too hot to see how the hydrangea are coming along. So this is the beginning of July. This is probably just about prime time for the macrophylla hydrangea. So we're going to start right over here. So located next to my shed, I have Double Down. Double Down is named that because the little florets are doubles here. And I have to say they are very unique. Once you get used to seeing this, you start thinking, oh yeah, that's Double Down. Now, one interesting thing about Double Down is that it is not on drip here. It does not get winter protection. Every year it blooms and blooms beautifully for me. So Double Down to me really is quite a hardy macrophylla hydrangea, and it seems to stay in good shape even though I really don't give it a lot of attention. Now right next to Double Down, I have two different hydrangeas here in the back with the darker leaves. This is Heavenly Blue. Heavenly Blue has been planted here for 2 years, and I know sometimes it takes 3 to really have them come into their own. It's looking really healthy. It has really, really big leaves. Look at the size of that leaf. Oh my goodness. And when it gets really going, it gets really big flowers here. Big florets, big balls of those florets. So Heavenly Blue to me is that traditional blue color. It is lovely. And right in front of it, we have this very bright chartreuse color hydrangea. This is the first year for this one. This is Golden Penny. It is a child of Pennymac, and it does get very light blue or pink blossoms, but I would say you're really growing it for the color foliage. Now, I am finding with Golden Penny, it does burn very easily. Think of a fair-haired person that burns in the sun quickly. These leaves are quite light and they do burn in the sun. So you have to sort of find the perfect place for that hydrangea. As we move down, we have the beautiful Hydrangea Love. This is all one big hydrangea. Oh my goodness. So Love gets to be quite large, and when you look carefully, let me find a good example here. When you look carefully at the flowers, they are also a double type of floret, but these are more rounded. Now I ordered this from Hydrangeas Plus. I also have one that I ordered from Mr. Maple. I have not seen Love in a nursery before, so if you're interested in this particular hydrangea, you're probably going to have to order it online. After that big hydrangea Love, we have some more really big hydrangeas. I think there might be 2 bushes here. This is Summer Crush, and we had a huge wind and rainstorm. So until that, it was doing great. It is very, very strong. This storm literally took down a lot of trees. So if it took down trees, yes, you're going to see your hydrangeas bend over a bit. But Summer Crush for me is super floriferous, so it is a good bloomer. And the flowers are really deeply saturated, whether they go a bright pink or to a deep purple, and you're not really going to see a true blue with this particular hydrangea. They're a real bright color, and I love that. I also think it's a great pairing to have right next to Love, because Love is that very pastel color, and then to put this really bright color next to it. They also have very different shapes of their florets, with Love being that double round and Summer Crush having little points on each of its floret flowers. After Summer Crush, tucked in here, I have one bush, so this is also a pretty good sized bush of Spike. And Spike is just so unique. It truly looks like it has little spikes on its florets. and the floret color is unique. I have a hard time explaining it, so here we'll show you on the camera. It almost looks a little sparkly, whether that's from the ruffled edges or from the color. It's unique, it's beautiful. Even after the hard winter that we had 2 years ago when this was still a baby, it bloomed. Oh my goodness. So far, all the hydrangeas that I've showed you bloom on new and old wood. I'm really trying to get those hydrangeas that are newer that are going to perform the best. Then as we step down here, we have 3 bushes of Let's Dance Rhythmic Blue. This is also a great performer and very strong. Now, I do see a little leaf burn here, but this particular area gets a little bit more sun. And these are very deeply saturated too. I am not seeing quite as deep a color as the Summer Crush, but Rhythmic Blue is a really good choice too. And a lot of these flowers get to be really big too, and I like that. We're gonna keep going. Tucked in, way back behind my fountain there, you see a little hydrangea in bloom. That is Cityline Venice. Now, Cityline Venice only blooms on old wood, and that could be why there's only 2 blossoms there. And it's struggled for me. So we're trying a new spot. I moved it this year. We'll see how it likes this spot. It's a beautiful flower, and it's hard to get a hold of now, so I really would like to find the perfect place for it. Behind the fountain, we have a Panicle hydrangea. So you know I really usually do the macrophylla hydrangeas, but I had to branch out. This is berry white. Last year it had about 5 blossoms, and this year it is going to be covered. Now I chose berry white because this is one of the sunniest spots in my side garden, and it has really good color. You can see I keep coming back to talking about color. That's probably the thing that's most important to me. It's going to bloom this white color first, and then it's going to deepen to a deep berry pink color as we get into fall. Further down here, I have another golden penny. This golden penny is blooming. Now, golden penny is not as hardy as some of the other hydrangeas, and I do find it doesn't bloom quite as well, but of course this is the one that we are looking at for its foliage. This golden penny is really getting a lot of sun here, so I'm considering moving it, but I do love it. You know how it is. You get those flowers that you really love. You're willing to go the extra mile to see if you can make them bloom well. And then over here we have 3 of the beautiful Seaside Serenade Newport hydrangeas. Now these to me are spectacular, but notice they're just starting. We have a lot of little blossoms, and they will all come in. This is definitely a later season hydrangea for macrophylla. Totally beautiful. It always goes from sort of a purple to a blue. It's gorgeous. They aren't huge for the different ball moppets here, but they cover it and give it a beautiful quality. And then finally we have one more panicle here. This big tree, which didn't do great last season, but it seems to be doing better. I think it's getting a little too much shade, but I see lots of blossoms here coming. They're going to be a little later because they're in the shade, and we'll have to see whether this performs well enough for me to keep it here or whether I end up moving it somewhere else. This is a beauty. This is Forever and Ever Peppermint, and Forever and Ever Peppermint has this gorgeous bicolor flower. Now you can tell it did get beaten down a little bit in the rainstorm, but overall it really stayed pretty upright. These are very large mop heads, so there's a lot of weight here and they're lasting really well. This spot does get some sun, more sun than the other side, and it seems to be holding its color and not burning. It is beautiful. And then I have one more golden penny here, not in bloom. Seems to be a good space for it. It is not particularly burning, which is great. Oh, look at this. We have a couple blossoms back here. Good job, golden penny. They were just hiding. And then we have Magical Ruby. Oh my goodness, I love Magical Ruby. This, I think, is the deepest. They'd say this is red. I would say it's a dark pink, but it is gorgeous. It ages beautifully on here. It is very upright, very sturdy, and we get a lot of flowers. So last year I put in 2 bushes of this, and then in the fall I found one more and I put it over here. The baby one isn't blooming as well, but that's okay. They are one of my favorites, I have to say. And then we have 2 hydrangeas here, one in the back and one more towards the front. The one in the back is a lace cap. That is Cherry Explosion. Once again, they call that a red color. I would call it a deep pink, but it's big, it's beautiful. I'm not a huge lace cap fan, but this one gets to stay in my garden. And then in front, I have Little Lime Punch. So this is a Panicle hydrangea. I bought it in a quart size. It was very tiny, and it's really doing well this year. It has its first blossoms coming on. Like most panicles, this is going to be white or green as it blooms. This has more of a greenish tinge, a little lime, and then the punch part is when it turns that deep pink. So we have 3 more hydrangeas in this part of the garden. This is Starfield. Starfield was new out a few years ago, and at the Hydrangea University, they gave participants Starfield for attending. This is just gorgeous. It also has those double little florets. Just love it. And look at how covered it is. This was one of my first blooming Macrophylla hydrangeas this year. Towards the back, we have another Cherry Explosion. This one my mom rescued. She saw it at the end of the season and wasn't doing great, and it seems very happy here. And then the last in line here is Next Generation Pistachio. And this has those unique blossoms that are green and pink, and then in the center they are either blue or pink depending on the acidity of your soil. Now this is in the ground. I find that Next Generation Pistachio has bloomed better for me when I've had it in a pot, but I'm going to see if I can get it to do really well here. I think that there's a good chance it's going to do well. Now we have a whole bunch more hydrangea in the backyard and in the front. But boy, that was a lot of information. The only ones in this garden here that only bloom on old wood, are there any of them? Let me think. I don't think so. Except for the little Cityline Vienna, these all bloom on new wood and old wood. So they're great ones to have in the ground in my zone 6B, 7A area. So those are the hydrangea in my side yard. If I were put on the spot and I had to choose one of these hydrangea to plant, I think Summer Crush would be the choice. It just is so bright and dynamic and so full of flowers. If you don't have a Summer Crush yet, I think it's worth getting it. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.